Hi everybody, Jennifer Blevin-Smith with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Today, we're going to talk about some key takeaways in a payer contract. Now, let's assume for a minute that you have completed the entire credentialing process for a payer and they have sent you a contract. Once that contract is executed, you will then be a participating provider or considered as in-network with that payer. There are a few things that you need to look at in that contract before you sign it. Let me just make a quick note that I am not a lawyer, I am not an attorney, I am not very good when it comes to all of the legal jargon that all of these contracts will have. I have to read them and really make sure I comprehend what they're saying. So I would really encourage you to either consult a physician, medical, healthcare attorney that you have retained, or maybe retain one just to review a contract with you, and they can give you some of their expert advice on things that you should be looking for when it comes to the legal jargon. I am coming from a point of view that I'm going to tell you what to look for a medical side of things, not for the legal side of things. So if you need someone to help you understand the legalese, if you will, of these contracts, please do not take this video to heart for that and consult a professional attorney or lawyer for that. When it comes to things that you need to know for your practice when it comes to the healthcare side, that's what I'm talking about today. So the first thing you want to make sure is that they have your business name correct on the contract, your name as the owner, the tax ID numbers, the MPIs, address, phone number for the business, anything that is a personalization for this contract for your business between the payer and your business, or the payer and yourself, needs to be looked at, and making sure that spelling is correct, the numbers aren't transposed, everything looks good, because that's what's going to be in their system. And if there's any discrepancy between the claims you're submitting with this information and what they've loaded into their system, it will deny those claims. And then you have to try to figure out why, and it can take a long time, and all the while it's delaying payment to you. So make sure that all looks good, first of all. Second of all, make sure you check the effective date. A lot of times it will say the effective date in the first or second paragraph, that contract will be effective on a certain date. That date is the date that you are considered in network and participating with that payer and the plans listed in the contract. That is when you can start seeing those patients, that first date of service for those patients, and you can send those claims confidently knowing they will be processed as in-network. Do not assume the signature date, unless it specifically says it, is the effective date. That's a very big misconception in the field with providers. So make sure you look at the effective date, and if it specifies specifically it's the date of the signature, then you can go off of that. Otherwise, it will say it up higher. You'll want to notate that in your documentation, your calendars, whatever, your effective date. And I would keep kind of a cheat sheet for your front desk office too, with all of the payers and their effective dates, because that will help them, especially in a new practice, if someone calls and says, are you participating with this insurance, or what's the effective date? Or you can tell them they can scheduling patients with that insurance at a certain date. It always helps to have a little cheat sheet and give them some resources. The other thing you want to check is what plans are included with the contract. Is it just commercial plans? Is it just commercial and Medicare plans? Is it commercial Medicaid and Medicare plans? Are there any not listed that you think should be? Because you don't want to sign any of this until it all looks clear to you. Do not hesitate or be shy in reaching back out to whomever sent you that contract, whether it's through a phone call or an email, asking any follow-up questions after reviewing this contract. So go back to them, ask them whatever questions you need or clarification, or if you want something added or redacted. And if you can do it through email, it's nice, because then it's all documented. But I would definitely make sure that you are finding out which plans this includes. And if you're not sure if it includes all the plans, email them back and be like, are there any plans that you guys offer in my area that are not included in this contract? And they will be very honest with you. The other thing you want to look at is your reimbursement. And your reimbursement will probably be in an appendix, and it might be broken down by the different types of plans that you're contracting with. So it might have an appendix for how you'll be reimbursed for commercial plans, and then a separate appendix for how you'll be reimbursed for Medicare plans, and then maybe a separate one for Medicaid if you're doing all three. So make sure that you're looking at that. Also see if it includes any HMO plans, because if you are going to accept this insurance as in-network, but you're not included on their HMO plans, you might end up inadvertently by accident scheduling patients that have, like, let's say an Aetna HMO plan that you're actually not included in that contract, and it's going to be processed as out of network. So you need to find out if it includes any HMO plans and what you would have to do if it doesn't to be participating with their HMO plans if they're open to that. So those are some things to keep in mind. The other thing is you need to see how often it renews itself. So is it yearly, it auto renews? Do you have to send something every so often to ask them to renew it? You need to look at that. The other thing you need to look for is how you would raise any questions of reimbursement, or if you want to request a fee schedule increase or certain CPT codes just to be increased. You need to look and see what their process is for requesting that review or how you would dispute something. You also want to find out how you could cancel the contract if you ever wanted to down the road. What is the process for that? What kind of notice do you have to give to them? Does it have to be in writing, a certified letter? Does it have to be in writing and email? Does it have to be a 90-day notice, a 60-day notice? That's stuff you want to notate and keep in your little kind of cheat sheet by payer. So what I suggest doing is listing, a Word document with your Blue Cross Blue Shield and writing down all of these important points. Okay, this is, effective this date, it renews annually on this date, this is how we do this is how we do that, it includes these plans, and we need to make sure that we're doing this, regularly per the contract. It could be certain required trainings they make you do or whatever, and just keeping kind of an easy cheat sheet notation for yourself. The other thing you want to make sure that you're checking are all the providers that you want included on the contract listed? Do they have an attached roster? Do they have them listed individually already? If you're doing a group contract, that's where this comes into play, because if you're doing a group, you want to make sure all the providers you intend to be included on that contract are. And if you don't see anything showing this, you need to reach out to somebody before you sign, making sure they can show you who is included in that contract once it becomes effective. The last thing I want to notate is making sure that you know how to add providers to your contract or remove providers from your contract. What is the process that they ask you to do? Do you have to give them a certain day's notice before that provider will be effective under that contract? Do you have to give them a certain notice in order for them to no longer be covered under that contract? Those are the things you need to be looking at. Remember that you always want to ask for a copy of the contract after it's executed, which means that it's signed by you or someone at your practice that's a representative to sign it, and also somebody at the payer. It is not considered executed or effective until it's signed by both parties, so you want to make sure that you are getting back a copy of that after it's countersigned by the payer. Keep an electronic copy, but also print a paper copy and have that handy just in case, God forbid, something were to happen to the paper copy or the electronic copy, you have a backup. If you have any other suggestions on things that should be looked at in a contract from your experience, please leave that in the comments below. If you have any questions regarding this, please leave that in the comments as well. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Smash the thumbs up if today's video was helpful, and take care of yourself, enjoy the summer, stay healthy. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.